This is Glenn Fisher and Dylan Roberts D2-1 deliverable. So first we're going to start out over here. We've got our great circle distance function right here. It takes 4 inputs, lat1, long1, latitude 2, longitude 2. You define them all as numbers, turn them all into radians, and then run them through this several steps to create a distance out of that. And then we went ahead and just like tried to paste that into the Excel document. Our other thing that we did here is we created the dashboard. So you got several selections here: COCOM, country, and date. It spits out down in here. It says "Don't touch me," because up here it changes the number, so that you can, when you hit filter data, based on these things, it will change what gets filtered. Then we have drop downs here for the different COCOMs. Drop down here for all the different countries that you can select. We also have a distance input and a latitude and longitude input. That'll come in later in 2 seconds. I'll talk about that. You also have a start date and end date that you can put in. So to demonstrate this, if you say I want this COCOM, I want to filter by COCOMs, I want to do CENTCOM, there's a lot of terrorist attacks there, and I want to filter the data. It's going to go ahead and highlight all this data, and it's going to paste it out over here into the My Data section, and it shows just all the different COCOM, or all the different countries that fall within CENTCOM that have terrorist attacks associated with them. So you come back over here, we'll go ahead and unfilter that, so it's all just regular again. Go back to input. We'll say I want to select it by country. Let's see, let's go with probably not. Let's go with maybe a country that's got more, Sri Lanka maybe. And we'll say filter data again, and it shows over here under My Data, it shows all the terrorist attacks that happened in Sri Lanka. It gives you all the event IDs and everything else based off of the terrorism data. So right here. So we'll go ahead and unfilter that again. And finally, if you decide by date, and let's say I want to do from January 15th to January 30th, 1971. Go ahead and say that, filter it by date, filter data, and it kicks out everything between January 15th from 1970 all the way down to January 29th, 1971, which is pretty freaking close. We'll go ahead and then that copies that into My Data too. I apologize. That's where that's supposed to go. Here we'll just unfilter this so we go back. We have everyone back on top of this. And this is all our VBA code for those kinds of things. Here we've got the COCOM filter, clears the sheets, activates the COCOM sheet, gives the COCOM, makes the COCOM a variable, and gives it a value, counts all the rows, so you find the last row, so you know how many rows to select in order to highlight your table, and then then you auto filter it, and then you can copy and paste it into your other sheet, into the My Data sheet. Same thing for the country filter. You clear it, you activate the terrorism data sheet, you name the country, you give it a value, you find out how many rows there are, you select the whole table, and you auto-filter the table by country, and you paste it in the other sheet. And the date is also the same. The only difference is the criteria for the auto-filter. It has to be after the start date and before the end date. So this little bit right here puts it right in the middle. And you link up the buttons just by a couple, 1, 2, 3 different if statements. The numbers that get punched out from the click buttons show you which function gets called and run, either the COCOM, country, or date filter. So finally, we go to the latitude, longitude, and distance. So what should happen is you put in a latitude and longitude, you hit SIGAX filter, it calculates the distance between all the different, here in P and Q, all the different latitudes and longitudes for every single different attack. and then what it needs to do is compare the distance there with the distance that you've entered that you want, and then it filters it by whether the data is within that distance or outside of the distance, and it's within the distance, then it returns that data and it pastes it over here into your data. Code's a little janky on this one, and it takes a while for it to run, so we won't run it. But basically what it's supposed to do is it finds the distance here, it uses this great circle distance to find that distance, and then it pastes it in the distance column after you run the thing, the program, and then this is the program that actually gets run, that calls this one, and it calls this one. So it just froze. So SIGI sort 2 calls find distance, which calls the great circle distance. So they call each other up, and in the end, what happens is this one clears it, sorts or auto filters based on the distance column that's created by this one, which is filled out from information from this one. And that's basically and then it just pastes it into the your data sheet right there. So that pretty much concludes our presentation. Thanks for your time.